Welcome to Falls Count Anywhere, where the wrestling ring meets the heart. Hosted by the gentleman Jody Powell, join us as we dive into the latest pro wrestling news and rumors, from the electrifying world of WWE to the inspiring stories of wrestling for Christ. This is your all-access pass to the action, the faith, and the hope. This is Falls Count Anywhere.
Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to Falls Count Anywhere. I'm your host, the gentleman Jody Powell. With me, as always, is the mad scientist, Mike Buchanan, and he is deep in the Buchanan Laboratory. Mikey, buddy, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing fine, partner. I don't think I'll ever be as deep in the Buchanan Laboratory as that voice of yours, though.
Well, you know, when you've got a cough drop and a sinus infection and a little tickle in the throat, you can go deep.
Fair enough.
Oh man, what's how are things going for you, buddy?
They're going okay. How about over there in your neck of the woods?
Well, yep. You know, if I can get rid of this summer cold or whatever this is, I'll be doing real good. But hey, we're gonna power through it, man, because we got a fun show. But before we get into the wrestling, before we get into Finding Tomorrow, what everybody wants to know is what you working on in the lab, man.
Well, I realize that there are some conversations that, sorry, ladies, no man wants to have this conversation. Wife comes to you and says, honey, does this dress make me look fat?
No. Oh, sorry, that was instinct.
Exactly. Men don't want that question asked. Ladies, you don't want that question answered. So I'm working on developing a closet coach.
A closet coach?
Yep.
Like a football coach? No,
this would be more like a optic inspired thing where we look over the woman and say, you know, you might want to eat another sandwich or so before you put that on. Or on the other side, if you're going out tonight, you might want to skip dessert. Those types of things.
Oh, whoa!
So that way it takes the pressure off the man.
I love it. I'm not answering any more of those questions. Go ask your closet.
Exactly.
Love that. Kind of a life coach for your wardrobe.
There you go.
I'm with it, man. I'm with it. A lot of uses there. I think, you know, one of the interesting things about, and it sounds like you could be mixing in a little artificial intelligence with this. I don't think there's like an actual person in the closet.
No, that would be creepy.
That's a whole nother problem. Yeah. So you know, it's interesting because you can ask artificial intelligence for just about anything, including conspiracies. And that's what I want to talk about tonight in the WWE. Hey, man, I've got some conspiracy theories about what's going on in the WWE. What do you say we jump into those?
Sure.
All right. I don't do a Jesse the Body Ventura impression, but if I did, I would insert it right here, since he is.
What would you say?
Oh, hey, no, I'm not even going to try it. See, you're trying to get me to try it.
No, if you tell me the words, I'll try and.
Oh, listen,
okay.
he would absolutely say, "Well, this is a conspiracy." You know, he used to do that show like on Discovery Channel or something. I don't know where he was.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. The body conspiracy theory. But here's conspiracy theory number one: Seth Rollins not as seriously injured as we all think he is coming out of Saturday night's main event. Now, we saw the spot. He did the backflip, landed awkwardly on the knee, immediately grabbed it, went down. They did the whole LA Knight hits his quick finisher, gets the pin. Everybody is helping him to back. He shows up at Evolution in a cast or a brace and crutches and all these kind of things. I don't think he is legit seriously injured. Now, he may be injured. I don't think it happened Saturday night. I think it happened prior to that, and they've played this into a storyline. But Seth Rollins not seriously injured and will cash in the briefcase sooner rather than later. That's conspiracy theory number one. And that leads me to conspiracy theory number two. We saw CM Punk will take on Gunther at SummerSlam. I think Gunther is poised to be the one to beat John Cena.
Oh, please no.
I did. I like him or hate him. He beat Oldberg Saturday night. Is he going to retire Cena?
On my table that can beat Oldberg.
I don't know. Come on now. Not the way he gets pushed. I mean, maybe legitimately, but the way Oldberg gets pushed, are you kidding? He's the guy that beat Brock Lesnar in under 2 minutes at WrestleMania after being out of wrestling for like 6 years or whatever it was.
Yeah, but wasn't that even 40 years ago?
Could have been. But I do think, and listen, I respect Gunther. I respect what he can do in the ring. I think he's good. I think he will dethrone John Cena. But I also think CM Punk will win at SummerSlam over Gunther. And that may be where we see the cash in from Seth Rollins, who's not quite as seriously injured as most people thought he was. Does Seth Rollins cash in on CM Punk after CM Punk beats Gunther at SummerSlam? I think that could happen as well. So that's conspiracy theory number 2. And at some point, I think Gunther will be the final opponent for John Cena and will beat Cena and will prevent John Cena from retiring or ruining wrestling or whatever this stupid retirement angle is supposed to be. All right, conspiracy theory number 3. You ready for this one?
Sure.
So I guess Sunday there was some kind of event where the ladies wrestled. I don't know if you knew about that.
I have no clue.
Speaking of cashing in, Naomi cashed in, won the world title, beat Io Sky, and made that match a 3-way match with her and Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. So Naomi is your champion. My theory is that Naomi will lose the title at SummerSlam, as on Raw, they've made a 3-way match again between the same 3 competitors, the totally uncreative creative team of WWE, put Naomi, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky in a triple threat match at SummerSlam. Wow. Way to go, team. But I predict Naomi loses that. Because I do think sometimes I think part of the negotiation of bringing a superstar back to the WWE is a promise of a title reign, but they leave out the length of the title reign, right? And so this may be a mea culpa to Naomi, fulfillment of a contract, and she has the title for a little while,
and won't defend it.
Yeah,
I don't defend it between now and SummerSlam.
No, I don't think so either. I think her first defense is at SummerSlam. I think she loses. I think Rhea Ripley becomes your world champion.
Not Ripley, man.
Yeah, well, it's either Ripley or Io Sky. I don't think they'll give it to Io. I would. I think Io Sky is more over than Rhea. That's a hot take. All right. Conspiracy theory number 4. Roman Reigns returned to Raw this past Monday night.
Yeah.
So I believe that I'm sorry, not SummerSlam. At next year's WrestleMania, Roman Reigns will battle Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title or the WWE title, whichever one Seth cashes in on and ends up with. And that will be your main event for WrestleMania if the non-creative creative team at WWE is smart about it. They would create a pretty good storyline building up to that, because that could be really powerful. But just to give you an example, Mikey, of how uncreative the creative team is, do you know who at SummerSlam is going to challenge Becky Lynch for the women's Intercontinental title?
Who's Becky Lynch?
Come on, man. Becky Lynch will put the title on the line against Valia Valkyria, or whatever her name is. Again. Are you kidding me? I mean, here's the deal. And I'll just say this real quickly. Women's Intercontinental title has had Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch and Bayley, none of whom really Becky and Bayley, but neither one needed that title reign or that title to push them. Now they've kind of subjected Bayley to basically a talent enhancement after she lost to Lyra. It's just poorly run. What's your conspiracy theory? I know you got one.
I'll leave it and then we'll move on to the next thing. Vince McMahon never gave over control of the WWE.
The old man's been running it the whole time, ladies and gentlemen. That's what Mikey says. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I'm not surprised about as well? When we come back, we're going to talk WFC. Stick around. We'll be back after these messages. Hello, wrestling fans. The gentleman Jody Powell here, and I want you to go to Instagram, and I want you to follow me, gentleman Jody Powell. We're going to get backstage exclusive video of WFC, of Falls Count Anywhere. We're going to talk about the WWE. We're going to hear from WFC superstars. We're going to talk about Finding Tomorrow. We're going to go live. I don't even know what that means, but we're going to do it all on Instagram. Come down, follow me, gentleman Jody Powell. You'll be glad you did. Hello, wrestling fans. The gentleman Jody Powell here. I believe it is our civic duty as Americans to explore space. So we need to go to Amazon and help Jeff Bezos turn more celebrities into astronauts. And in order to do that, you should go search for this book written by my good buddy Mike Buchanan. Feeling down? Look up. All right. So maybe it's not going to create more astronauts. I mean, are they welcome back, wrestling fans, to Falls Count Anywhere. And now it's time for us to dive into crazy broken world, the world of wrestling for Christ. Get your copy. Mike, Saturday Night Praise and Power Hour. This past Saturday night was a very special WFC on the road, and we were able to see events that took place in Maggie Valley, North Carolina, which was an absolute blast. That day was a celebration of freedom, and so there was a lot of patriotism, a lot of red, white, and blue. And, of course, a lot of wrestling. What goes better with red, white, and blue and apple pie and all that stuff than some good old-fashioned pro wrestling?
Absolutely.
It made you feel like standing up and say the Pledge of Allegiance. But we also were able to be in one of our home churches, a church that really has supported our mission, has supported our goals to spread the gospel to the Philippines, both financially, through prayer, through giving. We were at Love Spring Baptist Church in Cowpen, South Carolina. What a great event at Love Springs. And so this past Saturday night was WFC on the road. We saw a few matches from Maggie Valley. We saw a few matches from Love Spring Baptist Church. But you know what else we saw, Mikey?
What's that? We
saw some video content, some messaging coming to us from the Enlightened. The number one contenders for the tag team titles, the Enlightened, the Prophet Jedediah, and the Chosen One, the Enlightened champion, Sexton Barker, sending messages to Perfect Vision. Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, so he maintained his title.
Well, it's kind of hard to lose it if you, it's kind of hard to lose it if you don't defend it. I'm not sure how he came in possession of that Enlightened title or Enlightened championship, whatever he wants to call it. I'm not sure who he beat for it. I don't think I've ever seen it defended. I'm not sure I'd want to win it. So I don't know, man. It feels like it could have been something he pulled out of the Cracker Jack box, or
probably
maybe he conjured it in a flashlight. I don't know, man. But I kid and I joke around about that a little bit, but one of the things that was interesting was that Enlightened title was used in a match when Jedediah was taking on John Matthews a little while back, trying to earn this tag team title shot. and it was Jedediah that ran face first into that title that was being wielded by Sexton Barker. Of course, he was aiming for John Matthews. John ducked out of the way, and Jedediah got nailed right in the head. John able to make the pin there and get the victory. Jedediah was not too pleased about that. And we saw his comments this past Saturday night after that match, directed toward not only John Matthews, but toward George Truly here. Apparently he's a big fan of mine, but didn't appreciate some of the things that I had to say about the Enlightened. And it got me to thinking, Mike. I mean, fair points. We have not given the Enlightened an opportunity to really expand and explain what they're about, who they are. And so, I'm gonna find out where they are. I'm gonna find out where they're from. I'm gonna go to Enlightenville or wherever it is.
Maybe it's parts unknown.
Could be parts unknown. Parts unknown. I'm familiar with that. It's not a place you want to be at night, but I do hear that they have a really, really great mayor there at Parts Unknown, but we'll see about that one. But even if it's Parts Unknown, I'm going to go. I'm going to find this barn that they're in, and this family farm. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to go find these guys, and I'm going to have a sit down interview. I'm going to give them the opportunity to kind of explain, to talk about what they think it means to be enlightened. What is this? I think we make some assumptions, Mike, because Jedediah, I get, and I hate to say this, but I get a little bit of a David Koresh vibe from him. It's easy to assume these guys are like cultish figures. They're pushing some cult, but I've never given them the chance to really talk about it. Never given them the chance to talk about why they want to be in the WFC, why they want to be WFC champions, what being enlightened really is, what their belief system is. So I'm going to go. I'm going to sit down and we're going to have an interview, and I'm going to give them the opportunity to share with the world why they're in WFC, what their beliefs are, why Jedediah feels like he is a prophet, why Sexton Barker feels like he is a chosen one, and just get the scoop, man. Do a little investigative journalism and see how that goes. But we'll find out exactly who they are and if they are capable of taking those WFC World Tag Team Championships from Perfect Vision August 30th at King of the Mountain, the 2-hour premium live event with that incredible King of the Mountain match. Just like when we were kids, Mike, you climb the hill, stand on the top of the hill and wait for somebody to come knock you off. That's King of the Mountain. Well, same thing here. You stand in the middle of the ring, wait on somebody to come toss you out of the ring. Doesn't have to be over the top rope. It can be through the middle rope. It can be under the bottom rope. They can kick you out, throw you out, backflip you out, throw you under the rope. Whatever it is, if your feet hit the floor, you have fallen off the mountain. You are no longer King of the Mountain until one man stands tall and claims the first Chris Thunder Anderson Memorial Golden Ticket that gives them access to a title shot at the WFC World Heavyweight Championship. So that'll be interesting to see how that all plays out August 30th. And as well as having the world title defended, the television title defended, and of course, as we've heard, the tag team titles defended. What else is great to see how it plays out is what happens after the break, because it's our favorite part of the show. It's Fighting Tomorrow. It's understanding how to live in this world as a Christian, knowing that this world is broken. Stay tuned, fans. Fighting Tomorrow, right after these messages.
When Wrestling for Christ visits the Philippines, we bring more than just wrestling. We bring the love of Jesus Christ. Our mission extends beyond the ring. We hold vacation Bible schools, run basketball and youth camps, and visit villages to share the gospel, offering hope and encouragement to those in need. Since 2017, Wrestling for Christ has seen thousands of professions of faith and lives changed simply by sharing the love of Jesus. In 2025, we're planning to return for television tapings on Abundant TV to reach even more lives. We need your support to continue this vital work. Help us bring hope to the Philippines.
Scan the QR code to donate today and go to our website to learn more about this ministry.
Thank you, and God bless.
Hello, wrestling fans. The gentleman Jody Powell here. And I want to put you onto two, not one, but two YouTube channels that you need to check out. First, Wrestling for Christ WFC, right here. Check it out. Every episode of Saturday Night Praise and Power Hour up until the last week's episode is on that channel. And then Falls Count Anywhere 323, me and Mike talking it out right here on Abundant TV and YouTube. Check it out.
Welcome back, Wrestling for Christ fans. As Jody said, this is our favorite time of the show, where we try and offer you hope for tomorrow. Now, I don't know how many of y'all are baseball fans, but back in the day, specifically 1969 is one that usually comes to people's minds, especially if you're a Cubs fan. The Cubs were way ahead of the Mets. There was no hope for them. Or there was no hope for anybody behind them, I should say, until the Mets came along. And the Mets eventually beat the Cubbies and then went to the World Series.
The lovable losers.
Lovable losers. So some of y'all are thinking, okay, Doc, or okay, mad scientist, what does that have to do with finding hope for tomorrow? Well, in 2 Timothy 2:13, it talks about God's faith. God's faithfulness, I should say. And the reason I use the Cubs is because, their owner, whatever, could have made decisions that were drastic and changed baseball. And, some of those Hall of Famers that were on there, I can think of 4 off the top of my head, could have decided never to play baseball. And, they played at their best and nothing happened. So why play baseball anymore? And I don't know about our audience, Jody, but I've had those moments where, you're trying to be faithful and you're trying to be faithful, but then you mess up and you start wondering, am I ever going to recover from it?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Mike, it's a slippery slope to begin going down the path of not having faith, whether it's not having faith in yourself or not having faith in God to kind of secure your path. I am incredibly grateful that God is faithful, because there have been too many times when I haven't been. Whether it's because I messed up or whether it's because I feel like God's forgotten me. Sometimes I felt like God has abandoned me. Sometimes I feel like I'm in situations where I don't belong. I don't need to be here. And I don't understand why God has put me here. I feel like Jonah. Because I want to run the other way. I don't want to go to Nineveh. But God had a purpose for Jonah being in Nineveh. And sometimes we have to remember that while it's uncomfortable and not easy and doesn't make us happy, or it doesn't provide us with fulfillment or whatever, God doesn't put us somewhere that he can't use us. And if we can't find fulfillment and happiness and joy in being a vessel for God's word, then we're in worse shape than we thought.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful that God's faithful, even though that there are times that I doubt his faithfulness.
Yeah. No, I referenced it, but let me read this real quick. My glasses aren't even working. But in 2 Timothy 2:13, he speaks about how the Lord is faithful, even though we are unfaithful, because the Lord cannot be unfaithful to himself. So to Jody's point about feeling abandoned and being alone, as a child of God, or even if you're not quite yet a child of God, God is always there wanting you to turn around or to come to him. He doesn't give up on people. He just doesn't. And Jody, you were talking about another aspect to this that I thought was kind of interesting. Something about us not being able to do something.
Well, yeah, it's interesting because it's God is never surprised by anything, and there is nothing that we can do to screw up God's plans. We can screw up our own lives, and we have the free will to choose, or to choose to follow God or not to follow God, to believe that Christ is the Son of God or not to believe that. That's our own free will. God will never force us to love Him. Who wants someone forced to love them? I would never want my wife to feel like she's forced to love me, even though there are days that I'm sure I make it very difficult to be loved.
Me too.
But not if I get the closet coach, buddy. But God's not going to force us to love Him. But at the same time, there's nothing that we can do to surprise God. There's nothing that we can do to thwart God's plans. If Satan cannot thwart God's plans, and by the way, here's a spoiler, he cannot.
Was that a spoiler or was that a prediction?
Oh, that's a spoiler, my friend. That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler. You can find that. That's fact. You can find that in the Bible. Ask Job. But nothing surprises God, and it's interesting. There is a verse that truly supports this, and it's found in Hebrews 4:13. And there is no creature hidden from His sight, but all things are naked and open to the eyes of Him to whom we must give account. And so basically what that really is saying there, Mike, is that God sees all, He hears all, wherever it is. And here's the trick. It's not just wherever, it's whenever. God knows the future. God knows the past. God knows the immediate present. God knows everything that you've done. And oh, by the way, there's no sin. There is no out-sinning God's love. There's just not. And anyone that thinks, oh, well, God doesn't love me, you don't know what I've done. Put your pride aside. And you say, well, that's not pride. What do you mean pride? It's pride if you think you have the power and the ability to out-sin God's love. Yeah, that's pride. Absolutely, it's pride. Paul was a murderer. Murdered Christians, sought them out and killed them in cold blood. And God exalted him to be one of the greatest, most quoted apostles in Christian history. You can't out-sin God's love.
That is a very valid point. So we talked about this, I think, in one of our earliest broadcasts, Jody. If you're knocked down, get back up. If you see somebody else has been knocked down, male, female, brother, sister, pick them up. The bottom line, and I know Jody's about to close this out, but I'll bring something back from the Wayback Machine. The bottom line is don't watch out, look up.
Right. That's right. And that's how we survive this, Mikey. That's how we get through. That's how we find tomorrow. When we say find tomorrow, we're not talking about you finding a purpose. We're talking about you turning your eyes toward the Lord, because that's the only tomorrow you need. It's the only tomorrow we're promised. We're not promised an actual tomorrow here on earth, but we are promised a tomorrow and beyond when we love the Lord.
We're promised one more thing.
What's that?
I said, I think we're promised one more thing.
We are promised one more thing, and that is coming up next. The Clash with Jeff Dixon and the Saint Chris Whaley right here on Abundant TV. Hey, Do you want to know what's going on behind the scenes of WFC? Follow me on Instagram. But don't just follow me. Follow the Duchess.